So this instrument is called a clavichord. Similar to the harpsichord, it existed around the same time, and it lives a little longer than the harpsichord did. It goes until like 1850. This instrument is incredibly quiet, which is why we brought it so close, because I'm hoping y'all will still hear it. But overall, this one can be incredibly soft. It's also got this little thing where it's the first known keyboard vibrato for an instrument, for a keyboard instrument, because if you press a key, it's called babooing. It was a little thing you could shake on the key and make it vibrate. They use it for an emotional effect. Sometimes I do it by accident because I'm trying to hold on. So this next set, the Playable Sonatinas. Now these actually did come from Jane Austen's library. There's this professor in London, Dr. Janice Brooks. She worked with the House Museum of Jane Austen, and together they digitized her entire collection. It's over 600 pieces online now, and that only happened 2 years ago. And I'm very happy for that because there's a lot of great music in there that I want to get into, but we only brought a couple. We brought sonatines today, and we'll be playing some overtures with Natalie on tomorrow. I brought these to my teacher last week because I wanted to work on this on clavichord, and after he heard them, he went cute. He thought it was cute, and then he was like, "But what's the point of these? Like, why did you bring this to me?" Because he was wondering if they're teaching pieces, because they're not that difficult, but why are they not more published then? Because Jane Austen's library is the only place I can find them right now. So let's just say that's the only place you can find it currently. I'm still going to keep looking for it in other places. But for me, I just started working on the clavichord a couple months ago, so I feel like a simple piece is where I should be starting. So I woke up this morning, and I told you about Dr. Janice Brooks. She's the lady that worked on this entire library of Jane Austen. She emailed me back and said she was very happy that we're doing these festivals. She hopes it's going very well. And she emailed me her latest article on Jane Austen's use of poetry and music. Because, like I said, Jane Austen is a big musician. According to her niece, Caroline, Jane Austen would spend every morning before breakfast. She made breakfast for her family, but before that, she'd wake up and practice for an hour every day, at least. And she'd also write a ton of music into her books. She'd borrow it from her friends, and then that's how people did it back then, since they couldn't print things on their own, at least. And she did that every morning. Her family did not quite enjoy it. They kind of just wanted her to stop doing that. But she never stopped, which I think is awesome. But her niece thought she played very well. She loved everything she played. But she did say Jane loved to play simple music, which I think is fine. I also like that. But the whole thing about London, like I said, Jane Mary Guest, who we played first, big name in London at the time, but we probably don't hear about her at all. We only hear names like Mozart and Beethoven, but these women were just as present at the time. You had Elizabeth Billington, Maria Hester Park, Cecilia Bartholomew. You don't hear about any of these anymore, and they have so much music I'm not going to say it's as difficult as Mozart, because that wasn't the point, but it was just as successful. And I was looking at Ms. Brooks, Dr. Brooks' paper, and she has this very interesting quote by Jane from the Persuasion novel. It says, and the main character says, "Yes, if you please. No references to examples in books. Men have had every advantage of us in telling their own story. Education has been theirs in so much higher degree, the pen has been in their hands. I will not allow books to prove anything." And I do think that's something to always think about, like who's telling the history, because it's something I've never considered very often. But I do think it's a valid point, especially when you're looking in London. Some of the biggest names there were women. And Jane Austen, she wasn't known as a musician, but she was very dedicated to her music. So now, I will play for y'all 2 sonatinas. These are both extremely short. So you can just pretend like I'm practicing.